In today's video, I'm going to show you just how disgusting the real estate market is and the one thing you need to do to avoid getting sucked in by it. Stay tuned. What's going on, my YouTube friends? This is Jerry Abbott, your #1 real estate resource here in beautiful Las Vegas. Hey guys, a couple of quick things before we dive into the video. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn the cold hard facts about the Las Vegas real estate market and the real estate market in general, then definitely subscribe to the channel down below. Number 2, also make sure to give me a thumbs up like, guys. That would really help the channel out. And number 3, if you are thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for nearly 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When the time is right for you, just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. Let's dive into the video. So the real estate industry as a whole is absolutely disgusting, particularly real estate developers and investors. The general public despises all the players within this industry, and for good reason. And in the upcoming segments, I'm going to show you just how horrible the exploitation has become within this industry. All right, so let's take a look at this first 45-second clip that somebody just posted last week on YouTube regarding the Maui fires and the appalling, disgusting, predatory real estate developers and investors that are trying to buy that land now from those grief-stricken Maui residents. Let's take a look at it right now.
It takes a real special kind of evil to cash in on tragedy, and that's what's happening in Lahaina right now. In the midst of 111 deaths, developers and real estate agents are now calling victims to see if they'll sell their land. And let's be clear, real estate in Maui and Hawaii more generally is a disaster. The median sale price of a single-family home in Maui is $1.2 million. Over half of families spend over 30% of their income on housing, and 40% of housing in Lahaina is Airbnbs. Yeah. Because of the influx of tourism, so many locals have already been displaced, and now these disaster investors are offering lowballs to people with no other options. Native Hawaiians feel pressured to sell because they need the money. Even if they had insurance on their property, they're worried that claims will take years to pay out and they won't have cash for rent or relocation in the meantime.
So does it really get any worse than that, guys? It's absolutely appalling and disgusting. The level of greed and nerve that these real estate developers and investors have to try to buy this land from these grief-stricken people in Maui is the most appalling behavior I've seen within the real estate industry. Let's take a look at the next one regarding Wall Street.
The Atlanta area is one of the hottest markets for large financial firms, often backed by private equity, that buy up and rent out single-family homes. The companies typically use computer algorithms to identify desirable property so they can bid quickly. One of them is Invitation Homes, which owns more than 12,000 single-family houses in the Atlanta area, and nationwide, more than 81,000. 3 other large firms own more than 100,000 homes combined. One of them just announced a $5 billion fund to buy more.
So there's about 25 to 35% of the houses in this neighborhood are owned by Wall Street landlords.
It's why in places like this suburb outside Nashville, investors can build up huge inventory, says Tennessee State University professor Ken Shilton.
This is private equity coming in and mining equity out of communities and sending it back to people who are already wealthy.
So you've got those shark real estate developers and investors preying on people in Maui, trying to force them to sell their land for pennies on the dollar. You just saw in the last segment that Wall Street is buying up thousands of homes and outbidding individuals so that they can just rent those homes back out to those people so that they can keep making money for their Wall Street investors. And in the next segment, I'm going to talk about the Fed, because the Fed, with the raising of interest rates as much as they've been doing it, they're basically suffocating the economy while trying to give it CPR. Wait till you see this segment coming up. All right, so let's take a look at this article that just came out last week from NBC News. You can see the headline here where it says, "Why the Federal Reserve has made everything more expensive to make things less expensive." And the subheadline reads, "A little bit of science and a little bit of art go into slowing down the behemoth that is the U.S. economy." This is a ridiculous headline that I'm going to get back to in just a second. But I want you guys to take a look at this part right down here that I highlighted in gray where it says medicine for the U.S. economy. And what they're quoting right here is how higher interest rates is the medicine designed to target inflation. Now, here's what I want to do. I want to go back up here and just show you this headline again, because what this basically means is the Fed printed way too much money during the pandemic, trillions of dollars, and now the medicine that we have to take, the pill that we have to swallow, is high interest rates. So when you see a sub headline here saying it's a little bit of science and a little bit of art, whoever wrote that is an idiot, because it's not about science and it's not about art. That is the taxpayers having to foot the bill because the Fed printed way too much money. There's trillions of dollars now floating around out there in the economy, and the only way to curtail that is to raise interest rates and make everything way more expensive, and we don't even know if things are going to get less expensive. That's how ridiculous the Fed has acted during this time post-pandemic. All right, so now let's take a look at something else that's completely ridiculous that came out a couple of weeks ago. Take a look at this headline here, which says Zillow offers 1% down payment to lure struggling homebuyers. Now, just look at that headline. To lure struggling homebuyers. It even sounds shady the way it's written. Take a look right here at this paragraph that I highlighted in gray right next to my picture. It says the Zillow Group, which is basically a mortgage company, is offering mortgages with just a 1% down payment as it tries to attract house hunters facing the most unaffordable market in almost 4 decades. So again, this is the most unaffordable housing market in over 40 years, yet there's another large company trying to find a way to take money from the average consumer so that they can pad their pockets by creating this kind of creative program that allows a 1% down payment, which ultimately is going to be a disaster because a 1% down payment means the mortgage payments are going to be that much higher. And then if you take a look down here at the bottom, some of these comments here, a lot of people are just incredulous. These people are talking about what happens when a roof leaks or a furnace breaks. It's pretty easy to get a $10,000 unexpected expense as a homeowner. This person is saying many folks buying homes are ill-equipped to buy homes in the first place. This person here is saying, I really don't understand how companies like this are getting away with it and getting the green light to do this. People are incredulous that this is even happening because, again, this is corporate profiteering at the expense of the average person. That's why, again, it's a disgusting situation across the board in a lot of different areas in real estate. And if you don't get sucked in by this and you manage your money well and you take your time and you're patient and you wait for home prices to come down, that's the best thing to do rather than jumping into new programs like this, which is ultimately going to be a disaster for a lot of people. All right, so now let's switch gears over to new home builders. Now, a lot of people don't really know kind of how to read between the lines as to what's going on with new construction. Here in the Las Vegas area, there's a lot of major builders. This particular website here, do you notice what stands out right there on that web page? Take a look next to my picture there where it says special financing, 30-year fixed rate, 5.5 to 5.8%. Okay, now what does that mean? That basically means new home builders, because they've built a lot of profit into these homes, they can buy down interest rates. This is what entices buyers to buy because they are getting a much lower rate, which means their mortgage payments are going to be lower. But guess what? When you read between the lines on this, it basically means we're not lowering our price, we're just going to get a reduced rate. I want to show you another example of this with another builder right now. So this is Richmond American Homes. This is a very big national home builder, big builder here in the Las Vegas area. You can see in the upper left side, 5% or about 5.7% APR financing available. Right underneath my picture here, it says, hurry, funds for this offer won't last long. Contract now and close by 9/29 to take advantage of these rates. And they have all of these different rates down below. Now, again, they're trying to force your hand a little bit here, saying if you're in contract and you're closing by the end of September, you could take advantage of these rates. This is why you need to read between the lines that a lot of people are not doing this. They're willing to buy down the rate because they have the ability to buy down the rate, unlike an average buyer, because they have so much profit built into these homes. The last thing they want to do is lower prices. They'd rather lower the rates to make the mortgage payment more affordable for the home buyer, but they do not want to lower prices. That's the thing you have to watch out for. When they are showing these kind of reduced rates, in my opinion, it's because the prices are still way too high, but they're trying to entice buyers by getting them a lower rate. All right, so now let's go from home builders to home sellers. Now I want to show you a couple of examples here in the Las Vegas area on the popular real estate website Zillow. I want to start with a luxury example first because I think these are always fun to take a look at, and then we'll go a little bit lower price point. Take a look next to my picture here. You can see this is a luxury home in a very nice area, obviously in the Las Vegas area. $4 million basically is the price point. They just did a price cut about a week or so ago of $225,000. But the most important thing, again, is taking a look at the history. Just take a look down here at the bottom, right where I'm moving the arrow. End of August of 2019, so about 4 years ago to the day almost, this home was sold for $1.8 million. 4 years later, July of 2023, they tried selling this for $4.25 million, or a 134% increase in just 4 years, which again, in the history of real estate, that has never happened, that kind of quick appreciation. They haven't had a buyer, so now they're down to about $4 million. But again, I know a lot of people are not in the luxury space, but even if you're a luxury buyer or an average buyer, this is what I'm talking about. This is the disgusting nature to the real estate market. Not specifically to these sellers because they're trying to get what the market is allowing them to get, But again, this kind of price appreciation is absolutely ridiculous. Let's take a look at the next example. All right, so let's look at this example of a home that's for sale in the Las Vegas area. You can see right next to my picture, this is a lower price point home than the previous one. It's listed at $750,000. They just did a price cut of about $30,000. They put a lot of nice upgrades into this house. So you can see some of these pictures here. Looks really nice, but here's the thing that I want you to take a look at that's most important. Take a look right there where I'm moving the arrow there in the bottom right. May of 2020, this home was sold for $375,000. And in 3 years, they listed this home for $780,000, or a 108% increase in 3 years. You got to remember something, guys. Real estate appreciation happened like this over 20 years, not 3 or 4 years. That's what's so disgusting about this market. It's unbelievable. It's great for sellers who've been able to make a lot of equity, but this is not realistic. Prices are absolutely still out of control. To double your money like this in 3 years is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know whether or not there will be a buyer at this price point, but again, if you're a buyer, it is better to be patient right now and wait things out, especially as we get to the end of the year and into 2024. I think there's going to be better prices for buyers. So here's how you avoid all of that exploitation and greed. Don't be desperate right now and buy into any of the hype. Do nothing right now. The companies and the people that are always trying to push an agenda down your throat, they are the ones that are desperate. That's why they're trying to force people to buy into things that are expensive like homes. And a lot of people, unfortunately, are foolishly doing that. Do nothing right now. Let the storm pass. Lower prices are very likely coming as we get to the end of the year and well into 2024. So before we end today's video, I just want to give a shout out to my favorite comment from last week's video, and that goes to Leo. Now you can see Leo's comments here on screen. He actually thinks that my housing outlook is still too optimistic. He thinks home prices won't bottom out until the Fed pivots to about the midpoint of next year, and then there's a lag effect. So what he's basically saying is when the Fed finally starts to reduce interest rates, that might not happen until the midpoint of next year. And when that starts to happen, there's usually a lag effect, usually about 6 to 9 months before we see home prices bottom. That means home prices may not bottom out until we get to possibly 2025, and that's possibly very likely. So let me know in the comments section down below what's frustrating you or what you're disgusted by. And my favorite comment from this week's video, I'm going to give a direct shout out to in next week's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I also hope you appreciate my transparency. Like I've said before, I'm always going to keep it 100% real on this channel regarding the overall real estate market, with specific emphasis here in the Las Vegas area. So like I had said earlier in the video, guys, I'm actually embarrassed to be part of this industry because there are so many underhanded players within this industry that are trying to take advantage of the average consumer. That's why I keep advocating for you guys, not people on my side, but on your side. So the thing to do right now is nothing. Do not buy a home if you don't have to. Wait until we get to the winter time or into 2024. Let prices come down. Let the storm pass. I think you're going to get better buying opportunities, especially as we get into 2024. So with that said, guys, if you're thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, where I happen to be located, I definitely think you should wait things out. There's more downside, in my opinion, coming to the housing market here. So if you can wait things out till about the end of the year into early 2024, let's see where home prices are then. I definitely think there's going to be a drop, especially here in Las Vegas. Whenever that time is right for you, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for nearly 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When the time is right, just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. I'll see you guys in the next video.